Hi everyone, welcome to the start of another themed reading vlog, and this time we are going to be doing romance books set in Australia, or at least I think they're all set in Australia. At least two of them definitely are. They're all written by Australian authors as well. In terms of books that I'm going to be reading for this weekend vlog, we have Carly Lane's most recent or last released book, For Once in My Life, which I haven't read yet. I'll probably read this one tonight because it will not take me long to read. These are usually closed door or very, very low steam rural romances set in Australia. I have The Reality of Us by Emma Mugglestone, which is the first full-length novel in the, I remember the series title, why can't I remember it? Oh my gosh, the Wattle Junction series. I have read one of the novellas that is set in this same series. Really enjoyed that one, so I'm looking forward to it. Also, I love the cover on that one. And then Mr. Right Next Door by Katie Montanaro. I met her at the book signing where I got this book, and this was her most recent release, and so that was the one that she had recommended to me. Anyway, these are going to be the three books that I read. One new to me author, one author I haven't read in a while, and one who I've only read a novella-length story from, so hopefully that's an interesting mix. But before all of that, I'm going to go and find some food because it is the end of the week and I am hungry. I shall see you when I have an update on For Once in My Life. Okay, so I've eaten, and I thought I would quickly show you the stickers that came in my sticky subscription. So this is something I'm trying for a little while, just to see if I like it or not. And Sticky is a sticker club. You can buy individual stickers, but there's also like a monthly subscription, and they have three different options. There is a cute pack, a vintage pack, and a pop pack, and they all have different themes every month, and they try and highlight, I think, different artists. So it's all about sort of exposing people to new and different artists. Anyway, I was really impressed because the first one that I ordered, which is the April vintage pack, came today, and it comes in a little plastic pocket. So this goes in an A5 binder, and I have plenty of those lying around, so I will find one and I'll be storing them in here. I love that it just comes in a plastic pocket. Anyway, I thought I would show you the stickers that arrived. So there is this one. So this one is transparent and very shiny. This one, I do really like these ones. They're those raised stickers, so they feel like tiles. I don't know what I would do with them, but they actually, no, I do know what I would do with them. I just don't know in which journal or whatever, because I wouldn't put it in my Hobonichi just because it'd be raised too much, but they'd make a really cool background. That's the last of the big sticker sheets. It's another transparent one, so let's pop it on the back. Like, I'm getting some ideas of how I could use them. There's also a couple of sheets of note paper. Very cute, I like that idea. So these sticker sheets have a big pocket, and then they have three smaller pockets. So there's these little labeled stickers. There's this one which I think you probably put on the corners of the actual plastic pocket, and it tells you the theme. So like, I think this must be the quaint theme. I really should do my research when I get these things. I really don't. And then the last thing that's included are some more little note cards. So these are a little bit heavier cardstock. That's my little Sticky Club subscription. I have swapped out my theme for next month, which I'm going from the vintage pack to the pop pack. The vintage tends to have more florals and that sort of style, which I do really like, but I have a feeling I'll probably use the pop pack more, just having looked at some previous ones. All right, so I'm like 40% of the way into For Once in My Life, and it's very much a Carly Lane book. I haven't read one in a while, and I'm enjoying it. Her writing style is very, very easy to read, and it's one of those books that you can kind of just pick up and read at any time. It is the story of Jenny. She is 50. She has been divorced for 2 years. Her ex-husband was cheating on her and just walked out one day. And so she's sort of started to rebuild her life and her space. And her three daughters are living with her. They're all grown up. The youngest is about to start uni, and the older two, who are older, I think, by quite a few years, have moved back home just because of rising price and housing costs and things like that. So they've moved in with her, and she's really happy to have them there. And I think one of the really nice things that was mentioned sort of as she was talking, as that was discussed at the start of the book, was that she likes having her older children back now because their relationship is different. And I think that is a really big key point, because there are always the parents who want to see their kids leave the nest, whatever, and have their space. And then there are also people who want to get to know their older children and don't mind them being at home. I think both sides are entirely valid, and I'll come back to that in a minute. Her two oldest children and her best friend kind of scheme and set her up on this dating app and start setting up dates for her, because they want her to get back out there because she hasn't been dating, and they think this is going to be the thing that works. I hate everything about that. Philosophically, I disagree with it. It's well written in the book, but philosophically I disagree with that on so many different levels. So all of these dates take place at the same place, this bar in town that's a small town. Jenny is a nurse. She goes on 3 of these dates, three dates in 3 days, and each guy is worse than the previous one, like horrifically bad dates. And through each of them, Jenny, you know, has a conversation with one of the waitresses there and also the bartender, Nick. And he is genuinely surprised to find out that she's 50. He thinks she's in her mid to late 30s. You know, he is attracted to her and she's, you know, physically attracted to him, but he's too young for her in her eyes. Like, it's not even a thing that she's considering. And along the way we learn a few things. He is ex-Australian Army and is obviously dealing with some PTSD, which is brought up when an employee at the bar is severely injured and has to be helicoptered out from this town to one of the hospitals for surgery, and he is the one to bring them into the local hospital first. And Jenny notices this, so I'm assuming that that is going to go somewhere in here. We also know that Nick is part owner of this bar. He and his sister have gone into it, and there's just been a conversation between him and his sister, and they're very, very different people. Very different people. But also that idea I mentioned before about, you know, some people are happy to have their kids stay with them, some people want them to go off and find their own way, etc. That comes up in conversation with one of the dates. And, you know, pretty much all of these dates have massive, massive red flags because people are judgy and cannot be trusted. The other thing is that because Nick knows that she has been set up on these dates on the profiles and people have been selecting dates for her, and you know, he's genuinely interested in her. He finds her and is just chatting to her, and they have these great conversations. I'm hoping it doesn't turn too much into a catfishing situation and that, you know, event, like it comes out sooner rather than later, but we shall see. Anyway, I'm enjoying it. For all the things that sort of make me cringe because of the dating and whatnot, everything else is going really well. So I'm gonna keep reading. It's like Days of Our Lives, but set in country New South Wales. So things get a little dramatic in here, and dramatic in like family history, secrets and things coming out left, right and center. But as always, just a really fun time. This book has 352 pages. The 3rd act drama starts on page 331 and is resolved by the end of the book. These are the kinds of stories that you can just pick up and read, and you don't, like, they don't take up any brain capacity. There's enough reality in there to just go, okay, it's a contemporary story. Yes, it is closed door. Carly Lane's books are always closed door, but that's fine. And I just love that Nick has this connection to the pub that he now owns that he didn't know about. Like, that's part of the family drama. So book 1 for this vlog down. Also, just for anyone who's wondering, I did double check, this is set in Australia. This will probably be tomorrow's book because I will be out for a good part of the day, and this one is the shortest one. I'm looking forward to it. Hi guys, happy Saturday. I thought I would show you the glasses that I have picked up. So these are my titanium frames, and honestly I'm struggling to get used to these. I'm going to have to wear them a lot around my apartment before I wear them out anywhere because the shape of them are different. And I think the lens shape is a little bit different. So I've been trying to wear them and I keep wanting to swap back to my other new pair and also my old ones just because they're different. So yeah, we'll see how we go. Otherwise I might have to take them back because I love how light they are, but I've not had pairs like this before, and I'm just noticing, like, depending on how I'm looking through, I have to look straight through them. Otherwise I get a little bit dizzy. So I think that's going to be a learning curve, total learning curve. But my other pair, these are by Alex Perry, and these are basically exactly the same as my last pair. So like these ones I can wear really comfortably. So I'm going to wear them, these ones today, because I'm going to the hockey and I don't want to wear something that's going to make me dizzy while I'm going to the hockey because I'm going to be turning my head frequently. But anyway, it is 10:30. So I've collected the glasses. I've done all my filming for the weekend. I need to find some food because I'm hungry. Yeah, and then at some point today I'll probably do some reading. So I'll check in with you later. Hi guys, it is much later now. I'm back from the hockey. I have had a shower, so I'm not in my gear. I forgot to film an update while I was wearing it. Anyway, not the greatest game. We lost, but it was honestly one of the most stressful games. There was a fight within like the first 5 minutes of the game, and I think it was a linesman who was injured, so 3 officials on the ice instead of 4. And then in the second period, one of our players was really badly injured, couldn't even, like, had to be helped off the ice. So it was a rather rough game all around, and we were playing Perth, and Perth is a really good team. Like, they're a really good team, and they know how to get around our players. So look at me saying our players. I'm invested in a sport. Was I throwing out theories around players and whatnot with my dad afterwards? Yes I was. The game itself was really good, and it was just bad luck. Perth's goalie was phenomenal. Our goalie was great. There was a shootout at one point for a penalty, and he was fantastic. And their goalie was just phenomenal. He conceded 2 goals out of 54 shots on goal. So it's not like we weren't trying. We were trying really hard. And I will be back there on Friday. We have our first Melbourne derby, so it'll be the 2 Melbourne teams. And it was really funny. If you're Australian, you'll understand this reference. So to go to the ice rink where the games are played, I go past 2 of our football stadiums, 2 of our AFL stadiums. So I go past Jolimont and I go past Marvel. And at Marvel Stadium today, at roughly the same time, Carlton was playing GWS. And GWS's colours are very similar to the Mustangs because they're orange. If I'm forced to pick a football team, I barrack for Carlton because that's just what I've always done since I was a little kid. That's the same team that my dad goes for. So walking through a crowd of Carlton Blues supporters on the way, like, I was going in the opposite direction, but I got some very weird looks because I was wearing full-on orange scarves and hoodies and whatnot. I promise I'm not a GWS supporter. I'm not a GWS supporter. Everyone thought I was a GWS supporter. And then on the train ride home, I was sitting across from 2 guys, and they eventually, I was waiting for it because they just kept looking at the scarf like, what's this? Because it's not GWS. I said, no, it's not GWS. So then I explained about ice hockey. So hopefully maybe I have convinced 2 more people to go and see the ice hockey here. So that's always fun. I just thought it was really funny because I was just waiting for it. I was just sitting opposite them, and I'm like, oh, it's coming. I had to talk to strangers on public transport. I did start Mr. Right Next Door on the way in. I am actually really enjoying it. I think I got 50 pages in. Let's see if this lines up. It is about Josie. She has, at the start of the book, she wakes up in bed next to her next door neighbor, who she's been having sort of no strings attached sex with, and it's her 29th birthday. They're actually good friends, but she just wakes up and goes, we've got to stop doing this. Like, this, I can't keep doing this. I'm supposed to be a grown-up. And it's one of those things where as a woman, society puts so many things in your head that you have to get married, and that you have to have kids, and you have to have the career, and you have to do it all by a certain point, right? The book is not trying to say that those are the right stereotypes, but that's what Josie has in her head, that's what she has to do. And so doing this thing with her neighbor is, you know, her not committing, and she doesn't think that he's the commitment type. Whereas Nick is just head over heels for her. Like, he is gone for her. They're part of the same friendship group. At the point where I left off, she's had to ask Nick to come to a family thing with her because she can't go on her own, and her best friend isn't available. And yeah, like, that's where I'm up to. So I'm gonna keep reading. I'm really enjoying it. It is a lot of fun. All right, so I finished Mr. Right Next Door. It is a closed door romance, and that's totally fine. It's really interesting. I don't know how to describe it, and I don't know if it's just a me thing or if I'm making it up and it's just in my head. Australian books in general, but also particularly Australian romance books, just have a particular tone to them, and I think it's possibly just there's underlying Australianisms when they're written by Australian authors. It's like tiny little cues. Like, I probably couldn't even pick out what most of them are. That make me go, yes, this is Australian. And I relate to this greatly because it is Australian. I like that in a book. I think I gave you the basic summary before. It's Josie and her neighbor Nick, and she is determined to settle down. She doesn't think Nick has a commitment bone in his body. And so she gets asked out by her optometrist, Milo. And when Nick finds out, he is rather immature about it because, you know, he's head over heels for her. And so he proposes, well, he tells her that they should date. Her and Nick should date. And she doesn't believe him. So he says, well, why don't you date both of us and see who fits into this ideal partner of yours? And so that's what they do. Their best friend and suggests they go on 3 dates. She goes on 3 dates with each of them and make her decision that way. I mean, from the title, we know the way that this story is going, right? But, you know, Milo is the optometrist. He comes from wealth, and he is, you know, trying to wow her with that, which is not the best way to go, let's be real. Because you need to know someone before you take them to a fine dining restaurant, because some of us do not like weird food. Yes, that's the thing that happens in this book. And also alongside all of this, you also have Nick, who came to this town to get to know his father, who he never knew growing up. He lived with his mum, and she passed away from a terminal illness like 4 years before the start of the book. And throughout the course of this book, Nick finds out that his father, who he's not close with, he works for his building company, Nick is a tradie, but Nick finds out that his father also has a terminal illness, and he is trying to come to grips with that. And he has quite a lot of stress and anxiety around hospitals and obviously people around him dying. And so that is a big complication in the book. I enjoyed it. I had a great time. Very easy to read, very Australian. I am glad to have tried a new author. So tomorrow we'll be reading The Reality of Us by Emma Mugglestone. Stay tuned. All right, so good morning. Did I already do that? I don't know. I'm still wearing the same hoodie from yesterday because that's the kind of Sunday we're having. I haven't heard from my sister, so I don't know if I'm going to head over to see them today. But I have a pile of things to do. I have written out my list. I have 3 videos that have to be edited this week because they go up today because they have to go up this week. And I have my list of chores that I want to do, and we'll just see how much I get through. Because like I said, I do want to watch the Canberra Brave hockey game this afternoon, but that starts at 5. So I'm going to try and get as much done as I can before then, which includes my never-ending struggle of just trying to keep my kitchen table tidy. I can't because I don't use it much at all. I need to get back into the habit of using it because then I keep it tidy. And also I forgot to mention that my copy of Heartsong arrived. This is Barnes & Noble's exclusive, so I'm now collecting this set. And I may be collecting another set of theirs later on in the year because they are releasing paperbacks with sprayed edges. I don't have an issue, what are you talking about? Anyway, I'm going to keep working. I figured I would edit a video, do something off my task list, edit the next video, do another thing off my task list, and just try and keep my momentum going as long as I can. And eventually I will come back and read the book. I'm gonna leave that up there so that I remember. I'm gonna keep going. Hi everyone. So it is now, well, it's the end of the weekend, it's 9:30. So nearly bedtime. And I have just finished The Reality of Us by Emma Mugglestone. Now, this would not be a me vlog if I remembered what the last clip that I actually filmed was, but I'm pretty sure it was much earlier this morning. Can't even remember if I said that I went to my sister's place and I saw my niece. So I did that, and then I did some meal planning and some grocery shopping, some video editing, and then watched a hockey game, then read The Reality of Us. So there's a lot of telling, not showing, in this vlog, but that's where we are. This is the first book in the Wattle Junction series. I have read a novella that's set in this series. So this is a contemporary romance. It is open door. It does feature 2 characters who probably need some therapy, but don't we all? So it is the story of Alice, who at the beginning of the book has run away and has ended up in Wattle Junction because her husband has had a sex tape with another woman go public. And the reason that this is such a big deal is because the 2 of them met on a reality dating show and got married as a result of that. They are celebrities and known to the public, and people are deeply invested in their marriage, and she wants nothing to do with him anymore. So this book does feature a rather nasty divorce. Just so happens that Owen, our male protagonist in the series, is a lawyer, and he becomes her lawyer, obviously, because this is romance. And obviously their relationship, that lawyer-client relationship, is a problem that they have to navigate through the book. The other problem they have to navigate is that Alice is dealing with quite a bit, and she is under the impression that no one believes that she can do anything right. And so she's constantly putting herself down, probably to do one with her relationship with her parents, who never seem to think, or it doesn't come out from them when they're talking to her, that they think that she can manage things on her own. And her ex-husband is just the worst. So she struggles, really struggles to accept help from anyone, or even to ask for help from anyone. And, you know, hardcore relate, like I get that. But it is a little bit frustrating in the book because Owen is just that hero type character. Like he literally just wants to help everyone, to his detriment at times, obviously. And there is another side story in here. He has another client who is going through a custody battle, and he is basically doing that case pro bono. You know, part of that is to highlight the fact that he is genuinely a good guy, but he also needs to know when to let other people make their decisions. And even if that decision is to make a mistake, that he still has to give them room. And being a small Australian town outside of the city, there are lots of side characters. Everyone's deeply invested in this relationship. Owen's mother Lulu runs a very boutique store, and one of the things that Alice does as sort of a way of moving forward in her life in this book is she starts making candles, and so she gets involved in Lulu's boutique business and helps with a lot of the town's charities and fundraising and that sort of thing, and sort of becomes deeply invested in that town structure. Well, this is going to be a series, obviously it's called the Wattle Junction series, and I did put my name down for a review copy, so we'll see if that comes through. The other thing that I think will be with the series is that Owen has 3 brothers, and I think it's going to follow all of them. The next book is his brother Nate's story, I believe. I had a lot of fun with this, even when I was getting frustrated at the characters because they just needed to talk to one another. I've certainly read books where that annoyed me far more than it did in this book, so that was great. There's also a little art print of the characters. Is that going to focus? That's very cute. That's Alice and Nate. That's my little stack of Australian contemporary romance books of varying levels, going from lowest steam to most steam. That just worked out that way. I think this is a nice little collection of books. That was a good time. So in the description I will leave links to all of these books so you can find out more information. Definitely check out the authors. They are really wonderful, and you know, congrats to Katie and Emma because these are their most recent released books, and I think they're a lot of fun. I think I said earlier that there is just something about an Australian, I think as an Australian reading a contemporary romance set in Australia, there's just a feeling about it like it's coming home. And that's really nice. I may be a city girl at heart, but this is a small Victorian town, and just knowing that that's the setting, and knowing that I've been to those towns and that you know these types of characters. I mean, which is not to say that I don't think anywhere else in the world wouldn't get that same sort of feeling from these books, but there's just something about a small town pub in Australia which does feature a bit in here. So if you know, you know. As I said, all the links will be down below. Definitely check them out. If you have read any of these books or you're planning on picking them up, feel free to let me know down below. Otherwise, if you have a recommendation for another contemporary romance story set in Australia, or it doesn't have to be contemporary romance, it can be any kind of romance set in Australia, feel free to let me know because I'm always looking for more to put on my radar. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone.